Today we're going to be taking a look at this vacuum insulated food jar. This food jar has been sent to me for this review, and we are going to be putting it to the test today. First off, it comes with this really nice cloth carrying bag. This bag does cinch at the top to keep everything inside. It's also going to keep your food jar protected while it is in storage so it doesn't get scratched or anything. There are a variety of different colors that you can choose from, and you can also choose different sizes. This is what the 12-ounce one looks like. You can also choose a 17-ounce and a 24-ounce. So taking a look at the jar, you have a nice silicone handle. If at some point you do want to remove the handle, you very easily can just by pulling it through the slots, and of course you can very easily put it back in. Taking a look at the inside of the food jar, you can take off this top lid, and now you have a little cup or a little bowl that you can utilize that way. Then taking a look at the top here, they have conveniently provided you with a foldable spoon. So if you are packing soup along with you, you don't need to pack any extra utensils because they provide it for you. Right here you have a pressure release button, so if you have something in here that with time built up pressure and you find it difficult to remove this lid, you can push this button, remove that pressure or steam, and you can easily get that jar open. So before we open this, what test are we doing on these food jars? So this is supposed to keep your hot foods hot and your cold foods cold. So what we did is we took some boiling water. As you can see here, it's about up to 209 degrees rolling boil, and we put it into the food jar. After that, we put it in the fridge, and it's been in the fridge for about 1.5 hours to see just how insulated these food jars really are. One thing I did notice when I was pouring the boiling water into the food jar was that once it was full, I could still hold the food jar very comfortably in my hands. There wasn't much of a heat transfer from the inside to the outside of the jar, so that is a really big plus. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get this opened and see what the temperature is looking like after being in the fridge for about an hour and a half. Alright, so if you can see that, we're sitting at about 183 degrees. When I first opened this, it was at 185. We are just losing heat from this being open, but this is still extremely hot. Too hot to really even touch. Alright, so this actually held in the heat a lot better than I had expected it to. It did drop quite a few degrees, but most people aren't going to fill this with a hot beverage or hot food and then place it in the fridge. So that is understandable as to why it did lose some of that temperature. But like I said, it is still hot to the touch. It's too hot to even keep your fingers in it. But that is really impressive. I think that this worked out great. These do have seals on them to really keep everything inside the jar so you don't lose any heat or allow any air to get into the jar. Once these wear out, because you know they're going to eventually, they do provide you with an extra set, so you can very easily get those replaced to keep your jar working as it should. So I really like this jar. I think it did a great job. You know, this is going to be perfect for camping or if you go hiking, and it's even going to be perfect for your work lunch, school lunch, anything like that. If you want something to stay cold or you want something to stay hot until your lunchtime, this right here is definitely something to look into. So that is the vacuum insulated food jar. I hope that this review helped you out in deciding if this is the right food jar for you, and if you do decide to make your purchase, I think you're going to be surprised at how well it keeps your hot foods hot and your cold foods cold, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed.